It definitely hit different when you know the people, y'all. It definitely hit different. Like, hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandon Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brandon Yvonne. Y'all already know at my channel we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. This video, we are talking Owns Family or Fiance. This is season 3, episode 8, Brijet and Andre. Abstinence makes the heart grow fonder. Before we get into anything, y'all, because we have a lot to talk about, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for helping this channel to continue to grow and thrive. I greatly appreciate all of your help. Thank you for pushing out the algorithm. Thank y'all. Y'all just don't even know. Thank you for all of your support. I appreciate it. Don't forget to also comment. I love reading y'all's comments. I love hearing what you think about the shows we are watching. And also don't forget to share. If you're enjoying the video, don't hesitate to share it. So anyway, y'all, last night, me and my sister was in town just for the night. And we came home from a family party, my mom's birthday party at my aunt's house. So we're like, oh, what we gonna do now? So my sister's like, let's watch Family or Fiance. I'm like, okay, cool. So my sister, aka DJ Nikki D, once I put on Family Fiance, she shouts, "There's Bridget, that's Bridget." I was like, that ain't Bridget. So then she's like, no, that's Bridget for Commodore, that's Bridget. And they whole family. I'm like, what? So yes, y'all, I know Bridget. Me and my sister went to elementary school and middle school. We all went to a school that was like a K through 8 school. At that time, it was like the only K through 8 school really in the city that wasn't a private school. It was like a magnet school, so you had to do really good and have good grades to go there. So Brianna and I were in the same grade level. We've had classes together. And my sister was in the same grade level as Bruce. They were in classes together. They were even in band together. And then Bridget was like in the middle, somewhere in between that. So my sister's 5 years younger than me. So I can't remember if she's like 2 or 3 years younger than Brianna, but she's somewhere in the middle there, right? So we're like, we can't believe it. Like, we're floored. Like, let me tell y'all, they mama, Miss Rhonda, I'm not going to say, I know about her, you know, we would call her by her last name, but she was always volunteering. She's on the PTA. Like, I would see them, we saw them all the time. We would see her mom all the time. I've seen her dad at the school before. I remember seeing on social media about their dad passing away. So yeah, this one hit different. It was already like sad what was going on in the dynamics of the episode, but it was even harder to watch knowing them. It was harder to watch. So let me get into the review because y'all probably tired of the backstory. I don't got a bunch of tea on them. Let me give a disclaimer. I do not have all this tea on them. I haven't seen them in years. I've seen them since I've been an adult. Me and my sister have seen them since we've all been adults, but I haven't seen them in a long time. As far as I know, they still live in Stockton, minus Bridget. I'm not 100% sure though. And I'm not, you know, just throwing it out there that I know them. You know, I really do know them, and I hate that this situation is happening to their family, although it is very, very relatable, right? So anyway, let me get into the episode, y'all. So, of course, we have Brijet and Andre. They're getting married. They're driving up. They're talking about they don't want, you know, the drama. Bridget's explaining that her family is very tight-knit. But, you know, a lot has changed since their dad passed away. And it seems like the family is not as close and everything as they used to be. Andre lives in St. Louis. Bridget lives in California. Okay. So, Dr. Tracy, they met with Dr. They go to the house. They see the house. Then they meet Dr. Tracy. Of course, y'all know the show is always the same format, which is nice, like I always say. So Dr. Tracy's asking how they met. They met on Instagram. So Bridget shot her shot. She got down in the DMs with Andre. She was like, she wasn't trying to do too much. He said he felt like a business transaction. Anyway, I like that Bridget shot her shot. I will say that I think Bridget's always been kind of marching the beat of a different drum than the rest of them. And that's kind of what's playing out on the episode, right? So anyway, then, you know, they only dated for what, like 3 months. They met up in Vegas, I believe. And then the engagement happened. And so Dr. Tracy's like, how did this happen so fast? And Andre said he prayed, you know, for a particular type of woman. And then he prayed that he would be that type of, you know, attract what he wants. And, you know, Bridget was that one. And Bridget also, you know, said she's done her work and prayed. And they felt sure about each other. So, and that's why they're moving forward with this. Bridget is concerned about her family's concerns. You know, they haven't had sex. She was taught, you know, grew up in a religious background, religious family. Side note, we've also all went to the same church at once. I still go to that church, but I haven't seen them at the church that I go to in a long time. I'm not sure what church they go to now, but they've been at my church quite a few times as well. So anyway, Bridget was saying that, you know, before she, you know, she's not a virgin. She was having sex before, but then she decided to try something different, abstain, and really be cautious about that, you know, and about giving away her body so quick. Andre was already on the same page when she was going to bring it up to him. And so she said that is like, you know, the foundation of their relationship, right? So Dr. Tracy asked them, you know, who's all coming from each side. So from Andre's side, we have his mom, Melanie, his brother, I don't remember his name, and his best man. On the other side, on Bridget's side, we have her mom, Miss Rhonda, coming, her brother Bruce, and her sister Brianna. Okay, so Dr. Tracy asked, you know, how important would it be to get the blessing? Like, what's the stakes for you? Bridget said, you know, it's pretty high stakes. Like, she doesn't want to have to choose Andre over her family, and that's what she would have to do. And she doesn't want to have that thought, but that's what it might come to. Coming in, Brianna and Miss Rhonda and Bruce are talking about, you know, they don't really know Andre. They're not really sure. Miss Rhonda feels like Bridget don't share with her as much anymore now that she's with Andre and all this stuff. Melanie, Andre's mom, wants, you know, is hoping to get the blessing from the other side. I think she kind of already knows that the main issue is on Bridget's side, right? So anyway, they all get to the house, and Miss Rhonda and Bruce and Brianna get to the house, right? And they're taking a tour. So they see the the owner's quarters. The big room, basically, where Brijet and Andre gonna sleep. And Brijet and Andre are already teasing each other, saying that, you know, one can sleep on the sofa, one can sleep in the bed. And so they put all their stuff together in that room. So Miss Rhonda was like looking around. She like, oh, all the stuff is in here. So then they went outside and they're like, okay, so where are you sleeping? Where are you sleeping? And then they're like, oh, we sleeping, you know, in this room together. She was like, no, you guys are not going to be sleeping in the same room together. And so then Brianna walked by, I guess where the sofa was in your room. And so she was like, well, one of them can sleep right here. And so Miss Rhonda said that's too close. So Miss Rhonda is pissed that Brijet and Andre were going to sleep in the same room. Pissed to the point that she said she will not stay there and she will leave if they sleep in the same room. I'm like, really, Miss Rhonda? Really? Now, let me give a disclaimer. Growing up, I didn't know they was this saved, okay? I didn't know, and I almost said their last name, but I won't put their business out there. I didn't know that they was this saved. I really didn't know that. Anyway, so then we get down to the blessing ceremony, right? So, you know, the family goes around, says their concerns. Mostly everyone's concerned because they don't really know each other. Like the brother and the groomsman said that, you know, he doesn't know Bridget very well. He feels like things are moving too fast. They want to know why they're moving so fast on everything. Melanie, she wants to get to know Bridget more, develop a relationship with her. Bruce said he doesn't know Andre. He also wants to make sure like they are going to be, you know, good for each other. Brianna says she wants to really get to know Andre and who he is and spend time with him as well. Miss Rhonda said that she doesn't know Andre very well. She doesn't know why they're moving so fast. And she also has concern with Bridget's luggage and Andre's luggage being in the same room and them sleeping in the bed together. So Miss Rhonda was like, okay, so are we going, because Bridget was trying to move on in the process. You know, they got a little script. And so Miss Rhonda was like, okay, so we're going to talk about this right now. And so then Bridget was like, no, I think we got to, you know, finish this process, but we can talk about it later. So then Bridget introduced what they'll be doing for the game. Andre's family going to be asking Bridget's questions. Bridget's family going to be asking Andre questions. Y'all know the games be basically the same. They just put a different title on them, right? So anyway, and then you have to answer the questions truthfully, right? So then before they go do that, Bridget sits down with Miss Rhonda to have a conversation. And Miss Rhonda is like, I don't like, how things are. You don't open up to me ever since you were with Andre. You changed. You don't tell me anything. You're acting different now. And Bridget was like, well, I don't like how you went about that. You basically attacked me. You act like I was you basically treated me like I was a harlot because we were going to sleep in the same bed together. And instead of letting me explain the situation, and Bridget apologized to her mom. She said, granted, I could have communicated it in a different way. I could explain the situation to you once you saw the bags in the room. And, basically was already attacking me about it and called me a harlot. And then Ms. Rhonda was like, well, I was very hurt because you were going to, just sleep in the bed with him. And, that's not acceptable. And I was not going to stay here like that. So then Miss Brianna, and I am not pleased with Brianna after I saw this episode. I am not pleased with her. Had me thinking back to childhood, it's all adding up now, Bree. So anywho, Brianna came around the corner with I guess she was drinking water, y'all. Anywho, glass in her hand. And she was like, peeping in. First of all, why are you coming around the corner, Brianna? Let your mom and your sister have this conversation, girl. Then she was like, is this conversation productive? And then they were like, no. And then they pretty much squashed it. I'm like, why are you in it? So then the families went to play their games. And Bridget really poured out her heart to Andre's family, to the point where even Melanie, the mom, would start shedding tears. She was like, you sold me. I don't think they're going to have a problem with Bridget. And I could tell they're going to fully embrace Bridget with open arms. I don't see them having a problem with Bridget. They seem to be so way more easygoing than Miss Bridget's family. So anyway, Bridget was explaining that, she was taught all these things about sex and Christianity and all these things. And yeah, she's made some mistakes, but she's thankful that God sent her someone who would love her for her and all this stuff. And Andre's that person. And it's just yes. And they're also asking her, why it's so fast. And she said the engagement did happen fast, but now they've kind of postponed the wedding for a year. And they're being more intentional about the courtship. The family asked what room, when you go over to Andre's house, where do you sleep, girl? So she said that she sleeps in his bedroom and he sleeps on the sofa. And Bridget was like, oh yeah, but I can see how that could look a certain way if, I'm spending the night there and all that. And the mom's like, oh yeah. And even Bridget, I'm like, Bridget, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to let everybody know y'all sleeping arrangement. Y'all being abstinent or not, or wherever you sleep and he sleep in the bedroom, that ain't none of his family business or your family business. I was so irritated with this episode. I was so irritated. And I hope y'all know and can tell from this video, even though I know them, I'm not going to be biased because this is not cool. Okay? This is not cool. So, I just hope the family gets the help and the healing they need ultimately though. So anyway, let's get over to Andre's side. So it was funny because both of when Andre and Bridget both sat down, they both were said, I'm in the hot seat now. And I feel like they make a cute couple. And I feel like they're evenly yoked. Unless I'm missing something, I feel like they're evenly yoked. So anyway, Andre sat down with her family. And so they were asking Andre questions. And Andre was also posed that same question about where does Bridget sleep when she comes to visit you. He said, in my bed, in my room. They're like, where do you sleep? He's like, I sleep in my room. And they're like, in your bed. And he's like, yeah. And so Bridget told her family something else. And they're like, well, Bridget said that she sleeps in the other bedroom or something on the sofa or something. And so the stories were not adding up, unfortunately. And then throughout that whole conversation, they got on the topic of different things that Bridget has talked to Andre about and the family needing healing and all this stuff. And so they were just looking so irritated with that. And Andre started kind of going in a little bit. And he was like, I know your guys need to work on your trauma. You need to do this and do that. It sucks when you're in a family where you're trying to heal and grow and everybody else it doesn't seem like they're trying to do that. And I could totally relate to that, right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys can, when you feel like you're trying to do your work, you're trying to heal from the past, you're trying to grow out of, the trauma and stuff, and everybody else is still like, not even trying to discuss it. They still got their blinders on. So that's what I feel like Brijet and Andre are. And so I wish Andre would have held on to some of whatever information he had, because I know he was trying to defend Brijet, but I just don't like the way he went about it. You don't ever go against the family. Let Brijet go against her family, but you stay neutral. Even if it's maybe hard to take the family side, you don't gotta take the family side and gang up against Brijet, but take the family side a little bit more, but just stay neutral. Basically, just stay neutral. Like, don't gang up with Brijet against the family, because then they're gonna hate you even more. So then they were like, well, I don't know what Brijet has told you. Like, you don't even know. Brianna's gone off. You don't even know the family dynamics like that. You have no right. And, you guys are doing all this stuff. And my father would never allow this. So I'm like, how you gonna speak for a dead man, girl? So anyway, and I know losing their dad was a huge loss for them. Like, we can all see that. I know that. I remember seeing their dad at the school as well. Like, I know what their dad meant to that family. So I get it. They definitely need to heal from that, though. They definitely need to heal from that. And so Andre did allude to Brianna having some kind of childhood trauma. That's what it was giving for me. Sorry. And then I think it was at the table he was talking about when she lived with the dude and had kids, but we're going to get to that. Anyway, so Andre started going in, like he was kind of piping up, and again, like, you don't need to come at them that hard. They don't even know you. They never met you. Like, it was just, his delivery was horrible. Like I said, he should have kept it neutral. Been like, well, he should never bring up nothing Brijet said against the family. You never do that as the outside person. You never do that. So, in my opinion. So anyway, we get down to the dinner. I don't know what they have for dinner this time, y'all. I missed it, or I wasn't paying attention. Was it spaghetti? Drop it down in the comments, because y'all know they have spaghetti that first night. The family or fiance, they don't have nothing else. But last week they had fried chicken, so maybe this week they had something else. I was so caught up in seeing these people I know on TV that I totally missed what the hell they cooked. So anyway, Brijet asked them, okay, so how did the task go and everything go? And Rihanna goes on to say she felt like, they uncovered some things, but she also has some concern because Andre said that you've been telling him stuff about the family, and in the confessionals, the family was getting all up in arms about, like, Brijet don't need to be telling him about our family and all this stuff. So she was like, you've been telling him some things that are, about our family dynamics that are not true and all this stuff. So Brijet tried to clean it up, and she was like, no, like, I tell him about stuff about my experience in my childhood, but I talk about me. Like, I'm not talking about what you went through and all that. I'm talking about me. So Brianna's like, okay, well, talk about you. He said when you come to visit him that you guys sleep in the bed together. And so then Andre tried to explain himself, like, no, I was trying to say that she sleep in a separate room or something. So then Brijet kind of looked like, yikes. And then it just got like heated and it went from like 0 to 10 real quick. And then Andre started getting into it kind of with Brianna to the point where Brijet kind of couldn't even say anything at some points. And then next thing we know, Andre is saying, because basically Brianna was like, my dad would not have for this. You guys should not be sleeping in the same bed. You guys should not be doing this. And Miss Rhonda's co-signing. Bruce is kind of co-signing. And then Andre is like, well, you and, what is his name? Lorel or Leo, whatever his name is. Y'all did it. Y'all slept, y'all lived together before marriage. So then Brianna was pissed. So she got up from the table. So somebody had to jump up from that table mad, because y'all know how they do on Family or Fiance. And it was Brianna this time. Hey, Brianna girl. So anyway, so Brianna got up pissed because Andre didn't spill her tea, which I kind of knew about that. Because I was like, me and my sister talking about it, I was like, I do remember she had kids super young. I remember that. So anyway, so then he was pissed, and then the mom was like, oh, like, okay, if y'all gonna go there, like, y'all do stuff. And then the brother and the groom man was like, we don't see a problem with, like, them sleep in the same bed for marriage, like it's not that deep. And then Miss Rhonda was like, of course you don't, because you're a man and it's not your honor. And then Miss Rhonda is pissing, and Bruce is trying to tell Brijet, like, oh, you don't see how, you want us to, accept you and do this and accept Andre, but you don't see how you're not seeing things, and you're, totally going against us, and you're not going to get the blessing like that. You need to see that you're not going to get the blessing like that. And I was over it with Bruce. My sister, aka DJ Nikki D, said he had that same afro since the 5th, 6th grade, and he did. I'm gonna need him to braid that hair back, some twists, do something different, Bruce. Love you, Bruce. Love the whole family. Okay, love the whole family, but I'm gonna need him to do something different. Okay, so anyway, so Bruce with that afro was going off. So then, that's pretty much it for family dinner, okay? So then Brijet went outside because she was over it and with the blanket. So the mom, Melanie, Andre's mom, decided to move her stuff. So basically, Andre switched rooms with his mama, basically. So he took his mom's room, so he'd be in a separate room because they didn't, they didn't want no problems, which was very nice of them because they really didn't have to do it. These are grown people. What I need, Miss Rhonda, Bruce, and Brianna to understand. Like I said, love y'all. We all grew up together. We went to the same elementary and middle school. Went to the same church at certain times. These are grown people. You cannot control what they do. They sleep in arrangements. None of that. Like, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. Like, it's none of y'all business at the end of the day. It's none of y'all business. I know y'all want Brijet to, abstain, hold her honor, all that good stuff. That sounds nice, but at the end of the day, if she decide not to, that's between her and her God, not y'all. Y'all are not the judge and jury on Brijet's life. And it just the whole episode broke my heart, y'all. It broke my heart. So anyway, Brijet was outside, and Miss Melanie came out there and said, hey, me and you, I'll just share a room with you, and Andre took my room and all that. And so then she's like, oh no, like, you can have the room, it's fine. She's like, no, I don't want you not to enjoy your room, like, come on. And then she's like, no, please, I'm giving it to you, please, like, I'll just be fine out here, like, don't worry about it. Like, you tell Brijet is over it. So then the next morning, everybody's kind of sitting around the kitchen. Y'all know what they do. Somebody was asking about the knives or something. Anyway, Andre went outside to apologize to Brianna, and Brijet appreciated that. And he basically said, my delivery could be off. I didn't mean to insult you and all that. She's like, yeah, you really hurt me. You really went below the belt there. You really did all this. And I'm like, girl, he told no lies. But anyway, so then he was like, yeah. I do want us to rebuild. We're on rocky roads right now, but I do want us to, try to rebuild and see where we could go from here and build our relationship. And so Brianna seemed to receive it, but she said she don't trust him. She said in the confessional. I really like the way Brijet and Andre can address issues and articulate, and they don't have to go from 0 to 100 real quick to get their point across. I like the way they carry themselves. I really do. And Brijet grew up to be a very, very lovely girl. Shout out to Brijet. Brijet girl, you got me on social media. Hit me up if you want to come on my platform and we could talk more about how it felt being on the episode and everything. Your story definitely can heal some people. So hit me up, Brijet girl. Anyway, my Instagram is @BrandyD24 and my Twitter is @BrandyVon. But anyway, back to the story or the show. So they go to talk with Dr. Tracy, and Dr. Tracy asks how did everything go. So they basically explained it. And so Dr. Tracy was like, I could see why you lie to them, because the truth has, high consequences for you. It's a problem. And so she was saying, it's really hard because you're trying to break free, and they're not seeing things your way and all this stuff. And Brijet was quite upset. You could tell she's worn out. And so Dr. Tracy said, I'm gonna have you talk to Dr. Allie. She's an expert on these kind of situations, and really sit down with your family and have the talk you guys need to talk, because Dr. Tracy said she could tell there's some trauma there, that there's been a rift and a whole situation there. And they did talk about the dad passing away on the episode, like when Bridget talked with Andre's side, and she said, my dad, he was like a pillar in the community, and he was. And standing room only at his funeral. They also talked about on this episode, in an earlier scene, about when the dad got sick with cancer. Everybody moved home to help take care of the dad, and then he passed away 2 years later. And the family hasn't really talked about it. Brijet said that she's done her work and been going to therapy and getting healing, and she could talk about her dad, but the family cannot, and they have not went to any kind of therapy yet. They desperately need to go. I'm not surprised they wouldn't go. Like, growing up, I would picture them to all be a family that would go to therapy. So it's just very interesting to me. So anyway, the family goes to meet with Dr. Allie. And so, Dr. Allie's like, okay, you're getting married, and the family has concerns, what's going on? So then all the family had just like negative remarks to say about they don't feel that, they're equipped. And Ms. Rhonda said Bridget has never lived on her own or not fully been supported by us, so we don't really know if she's ready. Bruce is concerned if they're not both two mentally stable people and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Bridget has been fine on this world on her own. Like, she was a cheerleader for different teams and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure she has. But anyway, I don't know. So, Bridget was like, dang, like, all they got to say is negative stuff right here. So even Dr. Ali was like, I can tell there's been some trauma here. Like, what has happened? So I'm thinking they're going to talk about the dad passing, but the Bridget then goes on to explain about how she was involved with someone who was like a trusted family friend, and that person abused her, right? And took her virginity away from her. And of course, it caused her a lot of trauma. They found out later on that person was a lot older than he said he was. He's supposed to be around her age, which was 16 or 17 at the time. And so she just remembers her mom calling her a whore and, all these bad names, slut, B-word, all that kind of stuff. And they locked her in a room. She couldn't go anywhere. She'd go and get out to the bathroom and get something to eat and go back to her room, and that's it. And they monitored her and they blamed her for what happened to her. She remembers her dad. She remembers vividly her dad dragging her out the room to ask her what happened, and she was so scared because she thought it was her fault and she couldn't really explain herself. So at that point, Brianna got mad and walked out. And that's why I know, Brianna, you have been through something, and that's why I know Bridget's story was true. I didn't doubt it wasn't true anyway, because why would she make that up, right? I was watching Bruce's facial expression while she told that story. It said a lot. And I was watching Miss Rhonda's body language and her facial expression as she told that story. Miss Rhonda didn't deny the story. And then they try to say it wasn't true what the dad did. I think what happens is when we put someone in our family who is the leader, the patriarch or the matriarch, the head of the family, and they're doing this, they're taking care of everybody, they're the leader, they're this, and we put them on a high pedestal, we don't see their mistakes. We have our blinders on, right? We don't see the human in them anymore. We don't see that they make mistakes too. We don't see that they've done some things they should not have done and that they have hurt us as well. And it's funny because me and my sister and my brother were just having this talk about that same kind of dynamic in our family. And so I think that's kind of what happened with their family as far as the dad goes. Not that he wasn't a great person, not that he wasn't a pillar of the community, but he also has hurt his family in certain ways as well. And that's natural. We're all going to hurt our family. I'm sure I've hurt my family. You guys might have hurt your family might have hurt you, right? So they were like, it's not true. And Brianna was crying. I mean, not Brianna, Bridget was crying. They showed Brianna crying. She was literally bent over, like trying to breathe and cry and all this stuff. And I'm just like, that tells me everything I need to know, Brianna. Like, you've been through something. Your sister has been through something. Like, come on. And so Dr. Allie explained the whole metaphor of like your car being broken into and all this stuff. And so Bridget said, you know, growing up, she just knew sex was this bad thing. She didn't know what sex was, to be honest. She just knew it was this thing she shouldn't be doing. And, you know, she didn't even know anything about sex. And so that's what Dr. Ali was saying, like, if you park your street on a car, you have to park your car there, and you lock your car every night, one night you forget, and then it gets burglarized, but you don't even know anything about burglaries. You know, how, you know, is that your fault then? And the mom agreed with what Dr. Ali was saying. And so the mom did apologize, but like her apology kind of got thrown in the trash, because then she was like, and well, you need to open up to me, and you also never tell me, and I can't read your mind. So Dr. Ali was like, time out. I don't want the apology to flip. And so she's like, Bridget, how do you feel, you know, hearing the apology? She's like, you know, I can try to receive my mom's apology, but I just wish she would have said it 10, 12 years ago. Yeah, that hurt. And then Brianna came back, and then it seemed like Brianna said something, but she was pissed. And then Bridget was just like, you know what, I'm kind of over this. I'm done. And she was like, I just want to get up from here. So, you know, Dr. Ali excused her. And so then Brianna over there fussing, talking about, oh, I just hate this, how she's painting this narrative, and my kids have to see this one day, and it's just not fair. And I'm like, girl, you're going to pass on that same trauma to your kids then. Like, come on. And then they're like, oh, she's just so blinded by him. She's just not seeing it. I'm like, are you kidding me? So then Bridget went off in the garden somewhere to sit and talk, and Andre was like talking to her and saying, you know, if we don't, this is how we deal with it. You know, you got to deal with it. If you don't do it, you know, it starts with you making a change and all this stuff. So he's trying to encourage her, but I get Bridget. If I was her, I'd be over it. Girl, go to St. Louis, like Dr. Tracy said, and don't look back. I'm not saying for her not to have a relationship with her family. I'm just saying, like, please do what makes you happy, girl, because you're going to drive yourself crazy trying to make your family happy. It's not going to ever work for you, right? So Miss Rhonda was sitting there crying, and then here come Bruce, and then he was like, I know you tried to do, you know, your best for us growing up. You tried to do right by us, and she's like, that's all I ever tried to do, and she just doesn't see that. She's trying to paint me like I'm this bad person, like she's a victim and all of this, like she hasn't done majority of everything wrong. I'm just like, really? Like, oh, this broke my heart. I did not know this lady was like this, y'all. I did not know this lady. Growing up, I would have never thought that this lady was like this. Yeah. So then Bruce is co-signing for her, like, yeah, I can't believe this and how she's being, and she just has her blinders on. Like, no, your guys' whole family have your blinders on. Are you kidding me? Your whole family has your blinders on. So anyway, Rhonda was like, Miss Rhonda said, would you give your blessing? He was there, there's no way I would give my blessings. And Miss Rhonda said, I'll give my blessing. I said, both of y'all deserve each other. You guys can have each other. So they just dogging them out. So then, I think it's the next morning or so, Dr. Tracy meets with Brijet and Andre. And so she asked Brijet how things go when she can't even like really say much. And Dr. Tracy's like, yeah, that's your answer right there. And she was like, you know, I know it's hard because you're trying to come into the light and they want, you know, they're still in this darkness. And she was like, you know what, that's how it is sometimes. And she was like, you know, what happened to you is not your fault. I don't know why I'm getting emotional, y'all. What happened to you is not your fault. You did nothing wrong. You didn't deserve that, all that stuff. So basically Dr. Tracy just poured into Bridget. So Dr. Tracy said, if I were y'all, you know, I would just go to St. Louis. Like, she was like, if I were you, I would just go to St. Louis. Like, this is your family right here. Which, you know, was a good point. And so Dr. Tracy also brought up a good point. I don't remember if it was that session or the session before. And she said, the thing is, they want to keep you as a kid because, it was the session before. And because she's like, see, you're still functioning as a kid to them and they want to keep you there. And you can't be the kid to them and his woman at the same time. That's the issue. It's not going to work. And these issues have been here all along, but they're blaming Andre like he's the reason for the issue showing up. And I said, oh, Dr. Tracy hit the nail on the head, because that's exactly how I felt. I feel like they already had an issue with her already had an issue with her, and now they're just making Andre like now that Andre came in the scene, she's so different. No, she's always been different from you guys. You can look at them and tell that she's always been different from the rest of the family and been doing her own thing, and that's what they don't like, okay? And that she's not, being controlled by them. That's what they don't like. So anyway, Dr. Tracy asked them, do they want to do the blessing ceremony? And they're like, at this point, they kind of don't want to get the family's blessing. Like, it's not a thing to her anymore. She doesn't even want it anymore. So Dr. Tracy was like, you know what? I think that's a good idea. If you have some words you want to say to them, you could do that as well. So Dr. Tracy takes them to go meet the family. So the family thinking they finna do the blessing ceremony. Andre's family is like, oh, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, what's up? Dr. Tracy comes out and she says, normally we would do the blessing ceremony right now, but Brijet and Andre feel like that is not the best idea to get the blessing try to get the blessing for the family at this time. Andre's side and their confessional, they said they were relieved. They were like, thank God. I think they could see the issues that were going on, and that's why they said that. And I didn't blame Bri. I was glad too. You don't need their blessing, girl. Girl, you do not need their blessing. I did not know this was going on in your family, girl. But please know that we have in our community similar issues like that running rampant, right? Like I said, I totally relate. Not the same exact kind of story, but like I said, different family traumas and people just blind, not wanting to address it, acting like everything's okay when it's really not. So they're gonna be okay. So anyway, Brijet and Andre basically did address the family and said that they want to continue to, work on the conversation, having these conversations and healing and growing as, as partners and as a family and all that. And they didn't feel like right now is the time to be doing the blessing ceremony. So, that was pretty much it. I don't know if they took the photo outside or not, but everybody did go outside. And basically the update was that Brijet went upon returning home. Oh, before I get further, Rhonda and Brianna and Bruce was talking about, the father would have been here. We would have all packed our stuff, and when we returned home, and Brijet would have been coming with us. I'm like, no, that probably would not have happened. You don't know that to be true. Y'all gonna leave that beautiful place in Southern California to run back home to Stockton, California? Really? Okay. Ain't no way I'm gonna leave that beautiful mansion in Southern California to run back home to Stockton. So no, y'all would not have. Y'all gonna enjoy that vacation in that nice house. Anyway, they had me pissed when they said that. So anywho, the little updates on the screen showed that Brianna and Bridget's relationship got more strained. Not surprised. Andre and Bridget decided to pause, the wedding to continue to work on themselves, and Bridget is making an active effort to continue to get closer with her whole family, okay? And that was pretty much the end. I believe they did get married. Me and my sister did see some wedding photos, but then it was saying something like she was just doing a photo shoot, so I'm not 100% sure if they got married or not. I'm gonna try to look into it more for y'all, but yeah, this one hit different because I knew them. It definitely hit different when you know the people, y'all. It definitely hit different. Like, it is hard to heal our families. It is really hard to heal our families, but doesn't mean we shouldn't try to do the work. But yeah, y'all family is definitely in my prayers. Anyway, y'all don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and comment as well. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.